Hello everyone, it's Kay here and I'm here today to share a little project with you. I do apologise for the leg of the tripod being across my work, but there's not a lot I can do about it. It's just that time of day. But anyway, back to the thing in hand. I was watching Tmika, Scrapdaworld, and she came up with this lovely idea. Currently she's doing a series for craft fairs. Well, we don't really go in for those too much in this country. I don't think there's enough people to go around really, but when I was watching I just thought, oh, what a super duper stocking filler for a Christmas present. So I've adapted it a little bit because I'm not one to do a whole lot of measuring and all of that kind of thing, and I think I've come up with a slightly easier way to do the same thing. So what you need essentially is a piece of A4 card to start off with, and you need to cut that down to 8.5 inches by, oops, I didn't do that quite well, 8.5, just didn't take that top bit there, by 4 7/8. So if your scoreboard is to hand, you don't need to score, you can just cut it out right away, and that's the piece of card you use. Now I'm using craft card because obviously I know what I'm going to decorate this with. Clearly you would sort out what you wanted to do for your particular little pocket. So then you put that back to the 8.5 side and you score at 1/2 inch. 1 inch, don't worry about that, it'll be covered. And then you want 4.5 inches and 5. And you can just give those a little burnish and a little fold as it comes hot off the scoring process there. And then taking your rough edge to the scoreboard on the short side, you just want to do one score at 1/2 inch, and that's all the scoring you need to do, which is rather lovely. I'm keeping my board out though because I use it for my measuring. And what we do initially is cut up through that middle square, fold it back and snip it off just like that. Then we want to go up to this side where the two little squares are at the end, and you need to cut those out, so you're left with that scenario. I'm just checking to see that you can see what's what. So you've got that area folded. Now what I did, although Tmika measures with and marks with the pencil, is I take this back up to my scoreboard. Disregard the bit that's folded already. Oh no, sorry. From the edge of the paper, don't lose your cut out bits. You want to make a little mark at 2.5 inches out to the second score, like so. Then you get your scissors and you cut in to that second score line, and you take off the long section at the other end and cut that right down to meet. So what you're left with is the little 2.5 inch there, which acts as a little flap like so. It just folds over, and these flaps become the bottom of your box. So this then is the back of the little gift holder, this is the front. So what I'm going to do is just notch the front one, the front tab, just like that. And I'm also going to notch these little side bits on the first part of the score, just so that there's not too much bulk to deal with when it comes to decorating, and that essentially is the start of this lovely little stocking filler. What you need to do then is go back to the scoreboard, because we need to measure again another 2.5 inches, but this time you're on the opposite side to the tag area. So look for your 2.5, line up the edge of your paper and make just a little mark like so. So you've got that little mark there at 2.5 inches. I've done it on the inside. Clearly, if you had it that way and you measured, your 2.5 is there like so. Now what you need to do is take it back to your scoreboard and place it in the cutting line. Line up your pencil mark first like so, and then get the very edge of that first score line toward the front, and you cut it off like so, and you end up with that scenario, which gives you a very nice front to your little holder. Now what I'm going to do, just using a little bit of adhesive, now you can use red tape, you can use hot glue, you really can use whatever you like to keep these little edges together. Clearly you want them to stay put, you don't want them coming apart, so it needs to be something that's quite strong. Bearing in mind that this is the front of your pocket, bring the back flap towards you and the front flap away, and that gives a bottom to the little gift box. Well, it's not a box because it doesn't open or close. It is just a little pocket really. But that, and I'm rushing. Clearly you would take a whole lot longer to put this together. You wouldn't be rushing like me, but I don't like to extend the video any longer than I have to. Keep a hold of the little bit that you cut off, that's quite important. Now for me, I like my corners rounded, so I'm popping the corner back into my envelope maker just to round that off. I just think it looks a little bit better. So I'm going to let that go for the moment and put it out of the way. The next thing you need is some DSP. Now what I do, bringing it back in again, sorry, is just measure by eye, allowing for a bit of a border, and mark my card like so. And I just cut that strip. Where's my mark gone? There it is. I just cut that strip, and I know that that's going to fit on there with a border around it quite nicely. I'm then going to mark the top of the card like so, and I'm a devil, I just use thumb marks. Take it back in, and that then allows you to cut the top off, and you're ending up with a piece of DSP which is 4 1/4 by 3 3/8, which is quite a nice size really. Now if you take this back to the front like so, with your DSP facing you or a plain side, whichever is easier, and you then line up the piece that you previously cut off, the piece of card that you previously cut off, and you just mark either end, knowing that you will cut on the main side a little bit more. You won't cut toward that edge, you'll cut toward the longer side a little bit shorter, because you do want the border on your box. So I've put my 2 pencil marks back onto the scoreboard. I'm hoping this is ultimately visible, and you just line them up within the cutting line, and there you have it. And of course you can't, because I've done it wrong and I've cut it opposite to what I need. Oh, poo bum splat. Right, I'm going to do that bit again, so don't listen to me. You need to have your DSP exactly the way it's going to present to your box. So I'll cut that off again, trim that down to thickness, like so. Still using my thumbprint to get it all lined up. Put that on the front of the little pocket like so, and then I need to make that diagonal score again. Well, it doesn't hurt to go through it twice. You know, if you like to be measuring and getting everything absolutely spot on, then don't let me spoil your fun. You do it whichever way suits you, but I quite like to just use my scoreboard to its best advantage and cut away like so. That then fits on there really, really nicely. I've got that little bit of border, but not quite enough on the bottom. I'm rushing even more now, so don't excuse me. But that's how it looks on the front of your pocket, which is really, really already very, very pretty. I'm just going to glue that down, and then we can put that to one side again. Put that onto the front. A little bit of wiggle room. You always get wiggle room with wet glue, which is a bonus in any man's language. Then you need to use the bit that I've had to cut into, sadly, to cover the back of your pocket. And I'm still going to use this because I will decorate it up a little bit more. You never have to let a little mistake put you off or stop you from moving ahead with your project. So I'm just going to glue that up with the Yoo-hoo like so. Oops, put it onto the back of my box like so. I will call it a box, and it really is just a little pocket. Just like that. You can see it's going on beautifully, and then I'm going to probably end up using a little bit more of the craft card to build it, but that doesn't look bad. It just gives it an extra bit of foundation, so I shall do that. Then I'll probably run some pearl trim, or perhaps a little bit of lace, with it being a shabby chic look to this floral paper. Just line that up, and all your sins are forgiven, basically. You really don't, just because you make a mistake, apart from being frustrated at the fact that you've done it, don't let it spoil your project. There's always a way around whatever little mistake you might make. I'm now going to put my little bone folder inside that pocket, because I do want that base to hold nicely. Now I'm just going to put that to one side again and carry on with the next part of this project, and that is to decorate a little notebook. Now what I've got here, these were ridiculously priced, I have to say. I think it was 10 for £1. So it really is a very cheap and cheerful little gift to put into someone's Christmas package, to send as a R.A.K, or, you know, just a nice little gift for someone. even on a birthday, I don't think this would come amiss. So what I'm doing, as you can see, is lining up the pad, and it's just plain ordinary blue line, like little jotters, but it's a nice quality paper. And I'm going to put that just with the edge of the pad onto my scoreboard, and I'm going to score once, twice, 3 times in the 3 spaces there, which will allow this to fold up over the top. Run my scoring tool down through that back there. I then put a little thumb mark just below the edge of the pad, and we'll take that off. Oops, not that time, Kate, got caught up. As I say, you'll take a lot more care than I am at the moment. I mean, I have made others, which I will show you when I've finished with this bit, and they really are so very pretty and such a lovely little gift to someone. I am going to just miterate those little corners just at the very top. They're just a tad, because I want it to sit well on the notebook. I'm placing that in the middle, making sure that my sealed end is up at the top, like so. Make sure my score lines are falling in place with that line, and again just gluing it, folding it over. I don't mind if there's a splurge, because at the end of the day it's just going to spread out under the card and anchor it all down really, really nicely. As with most glues, the Yoo-hoo does allow you to smudge it off when it's absolutely dry. I then press down and again apply a bit of pressure to what becomes the top aspect of the notebook, and you end up with a really nicely rounded and finished cover. You can trim it down if you want to. It's really entirely up to you. And then it's about decoration. Now I've run out of that. I haven't got a whole lot of that paper left, unfortunately. But I think maybe if I'll just add that bit with my little bit of Yoo-hoo, like so. Whatever I finish that gap with on the other side, I will utilise along the edge of this, and then I'm going to use my little Stampin' Up bow puncher. And this is such a glorious thing. You just line your paper up. You need 2 of them as always, and make the bow, which again is simple. It's just that bottom of that one I need. I'm going to line it up there, and then I want one of the tails there, and that's all there is to that. Oops-a-daisy. And again, you just crease and fold. This has been done so many times. It's just one of those things that you need to do when you're bow making, unless you want to decorate with something entirely different. And again, this is personal choice for me. I'm sure everyone has something in their stash that they can utilise to decorate the front. This is just quick and easy and ideal when you're doing a little tutorial like this. I've lost my tail bit that goes around now. Where did you go? Ha ha! That flicked off somewhere. But I'm not going to worry about it unduly. I'll just pop my little bow bit on there like that. I don't want it to be straight. I do like these little tails to be seen a little bit without making it look too odd. And again, a little bit of glue just onto the back there. Oops, and that can go in the front like so. And I've got some lovely adhesive pearls that I can then put into the centre, just like that, and anchor that down. It's already very, very pretty. As I say, I will off camera, I'm just giving you the basics now, probably decorate with a little bit of lace or something of that sort. It depends who the recipient is of this, really and truly. And then I would make another bow here, providing I can get enough out of this paper just to finish off the front. And once the trim then is on it, I think it will look quite finished. See if I can get enough out of it just to do this little bit. Maybe. Let's try. A little bit here. A little bit there. That's the great thing about using these wet glues. You do get time to put things together the way you want them to go. And I'll pop that on there like so. It's not perfect, people, but it's just to give you the idea of how it looks. There's one tail. Oh, it's a bit ropey, but hey ho, it'll work on the day, as they say. Yeah, let's pop that one on that side. That's the back bit. So nobody's going to know that it's a little bit beaten up on the outside edge. I did have another one, I thought. Oh no. Well, anyway, you get the gist of it. I would put another bow on the front like so, with all the bits and pieces that belong to it, and a little bit of I don't know, another bit of pearl or something, bling, to finish it off. I'm going to have pearl trim, as I said, coming down through the side of the notebook anyway, and then that fits really, really nicely into the folder like so. I'll bring in a couple that I've done with a little better finish to them. And I've done a nice spotty dotty, oops a daisy, Christmas one. I'm waiting for some pens to go inside. So there's the notebook, and I've put in a little bit of Kinder chocolate just to keep it interesting, with the bow on the back, and that's the finished bit. And I just put my to and from with a little label there. This is not seasonal. I thought I would do something a bit different with using a little bit of lace, but you see they really are so cute. And by the time you put your little pen into them and your little to and from on the back, dress them up nicely in a cello bag with a nice topper on it, and they really do make the most gorgeous little pocket gifts. Not expensive in the slightest to put together. And you know, if I were to receive one of these in the post, I think I would be absolutely thrilled to little mint balls, because at the end of the day it is something handmade. You've taken the time to decorate it, and it's from one crafter to another. So I'll leave that thought with you. I'm sorry it's been a bit rushed, but I do hope that you've got the gist of how it goes and that you feel you'd like to give it a try. If this tutorial gives you any reason to think, oh my gosh, I didn't quite get that bit, then I will leave Tamika's channel information underneath and you can go along and check out Tamika's tutorial. But as I say, that all the measuring and so on for me, I don't like to do that necessarily unless it is strictly necessary. So I hope it's clear. If not, leave a message underneath the video and I'll try and clarify anything that hasn't quite worked for you. Or, as I say, failing that, go and visit Tamika's channel and check out the original tutorial. Take care everyone, thank you for watching, happy crafting, bye bye for now.